Yeah, well, locally it's called the Christmas tree, but botanically it's known as the Cuprecious lusitanica.
What is it like throughout the year to, groom the trees to a standard ready for the season?
Okay, well, it's just my hobby. So every morning, maybe not every morning religiously, but most mornings, I go down to the farm and I spend like 2 hours and groom them. Then I'm back at the house and I relax for the rest of the day.
Okay, so this is just a seasonal thing
It's a
and
seasonal thing. What I do during the year though is that sometimes I do what we call intercropping with cash crops. So sometimes I am into Scotch bonnet pepper because those do well under the shade of the trees. And sometimes I do pumpkin. If you notice down there, you'd see pumpkins. Yeah, because that's a low lying crop, right? Yeah, so sometimes I do pumpkin, sometimes I do Scotch bonnet pepper, just to have some income in between, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So these trees, especially the ones that you have growing in your backyard, what's the height of these like
Oh
normally?
well, we have, and well, these are like 7 feet, 6 feet, 5 feet. So what we do, we market them like from 4 feet up to 12 feet. And I also have an older farm in St. James because I used to be based in Montego Bay. So I have a farm down in a place called Kensington. So the down there now we have the big trees that go to the park, like in Black River Park and White House Park and those places. And for some hotels, like even as far as St. Mary, Golden Eye Hotel, they're sending for a big one this weekend.
So what would you say to persons who believe, that the plastic trees are the in thing?
Well, for me personally, I don't believe in fake anything that is fake. I believe in the real thing. And just like how in America and in Canada, you have Christmas tree farms and people enjoy getting a live tree, and they do it for the smell. If you notice, since it's highly fragranced,
Yeah.
so that is why people gravitate towards a real tree. So when you put one in your house, it's the whole house smell like Christmas.
Right.
All right, so the difference between the small tree and the big tree, is it that it's a different breed of tree or like a
No, it's the
different type?
same tree. We just grow some small to suit like householders, and we grow some bigger tree. As a matter of fact, some of the householders go for like 10, 12 feet trees. Those richer folks that has this high ceiling, right? But normally, a 6, 7 foot is ideal for a householder.
And how long, if maintained, how long would they have them for? Probably the entire Christmas?
Yes, they do. All right, the season starts from the end of November, as I said before, and so it will last. It will look green right up until the end of probably in the mid-January. Yeah. So even though it will eventually die, but because most people who have the stands to put them in the base is made to hold water. So it will absorb through the bark, the cambium. It will absorb some water to keep. So it will still look like it's, yeah.
And how do you sell it in terms of pricing, cost, and so
Well,
on?
my price this year is $1,800 per foot. Right. So you can do the math.
Yeah. And then you normally have the promotion lasting until the
Yeah, until the end of the season. So I go right down like near to Christmas Eve. And like we go around the 22nd or thereabout. So I get 3 days to rest before Christmas. Yeah, well, locally it's called the Christmas tree, but botanically it's known as the Cuprecious lusitanica. It's also referred to as Mexican cedar. And it came to Jamaica some years ago to assist in the reforestation projects, like up in the Blue Mountains, the soil conservation projects. They usually plant them on the slopes as a soil conservation method. But people realized that it could be used because of its natural shape. Because even though we do pruning, it tend to come with a natural shape. So people realize that it could be used for Christmas trees, and hence the whole process. If you notice on Constant Spring Road, you will see them selling. Those are from the Blue Mountains. Yeah. So I have a few farmers in the Blue Mountains. I am probably the only farmer in Western Jamaica that does this.
You do this as a hobby.
Just as a hobby, because my love for trees really is a passion, you know. As I said, I've been in forestry for 43 years. So that's where I developed the craft for, So now that I'm retired, I use it as a little help to pay some bills and so on. And the fun of it. I love when people come to the farm and you can satisfy, or when we go into households. Because remember now, people that order, like people from Mobe and so on, when we go to these people, remember they're buying something that you just take it to them, right? So we have to make sure we get it right, because we can't afford to grow a tree for 4 years, and then when we go, it doesn't suit the customer. So over the years we have developed the knack, so we know exactly what to bring them. We know, and some people want a fat tree, some people want a skinny tree, some people want a short tree, some want that, so so like when they call and place their orders, another thing, some people put the trees in a Christmas tree stand, some would put it in a bucket and prop it up, right? So like they call, first question I ask, what are you going to put it in, a pot or a stand? So then I would know how to cut the stalk. If it's going in a stand, I would cut it with a shorter stalk, as opposed to if it's going in a bucket, I would cut it with a longer stalk. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense.